Hello, welcome to Too Many Minis. My name's Aussie, and today I'm joined by James, Archie, Curtis, and Jake.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Middle Earth Strategy Battle Game, which we all play at the London Wargaming Guild. Sometimes I get the name wrong, but that's right, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Wargaming,
Yeah.
not Wargamers. And we're doing a slow grow or escalation league, which we've done. How many have we done, James?
This will be the third.
Third. And this is going to be a quick one, right? We're going to do it 3 months, up to 500 points. And tell us the rules, James.
So yeah, it's basically start with 200 points of models, whatever faction you want, and then add an extra 150 every month. There are set scenarios for each like point level of the slogrow. Starts off with domination and lords of battle for 200 points, which are quite good because it's like one great for hordes, one not good for hordes. So you can't sort of game it too much. And yeah, the idea is you add 150 points every month. You can mix and match your warriors a bit, but you've got to keep the heroes you've selected from your first 200 points and so forth. And yeah, you can play as many games as you like, and you record your best game for each scenario to add to your points. You also get points for painting. So if you finish your 200 points in the month, you get extra points for that. And it's just a great way of getting people started off in the hobby. We've got a lot of new members in the guild at the moment, so perfect time to get it all going.
Yeah, new year, new army, right? And this is a great way to do that. Who wants to tell us which new army they're doing? Curtis.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to say I've cheated because I haven't cheated, but I have cheated a little bit. My army for the slow grow is going to be Kingdom of Moria. So I'd say 2021 was a big year of Mordor for me, playing lots of Mordor. Every tournament I went to. In the last slow grow, I tried Reigns of Ithilien. I don't understand the hype. Didn't win any games, but enjoyed it nonetheless. But then pretty much the rest of the year I was playing Mordor, and I got into dwarves just sort of a little bit towards the end. So that's why it feels like it's cheating, because I have already started this army. But one thing that I haven't done and haven't used much yet is Rangers, and I haven't really done the Kingdoms of Moria yet. I've normally just done Durin, load of Hearthguard, Kingdom of Khazad-dûm. So the theme that I'm going for slow grow is Gimli's Scouts. So my initial 200 points is Gimli, and then I've got 7 dwarf rangers with throwing axes, and then 4. Is that correct number? Yes, yeah, 4 dwarf rangers with longbow. I was just doing the points in my head, and I think that comes up to a nice 199 points. I could give maybe one of the archers some throwing weapons as well, but if I was going to do that, I'd have to convert it up. I'm not willing to just sort of say it, especially when I've got 3 others that don't. So maybe I'll think about it, but I'm happy to just go in at 199. So that's what I'm going for.
I'm so into the theme of it because, like, you can imagine, Gimli's the one with his dad who gets sent to Rivendell, so he's clearly like an experienced traveller. Do you know what I mean? We know he gets out and about. And,
absolutely.
Those dwarf ranger models are so nice. I think they're the nicest dwarf plastics, I think.
I really like them. I really like the sort of the Khazad-dûm Kingdom of Moria range generally. Like, it's been around for a long time, sort of the plastics and the metals even longer. But it's one of those armies, because it doesn't have a place in the film, and some people might not like it for that reason. They still sort of meet the characteristics of what you think of Tolkien's dwarves, and because they're not in the films, you really have like a fresh palette on how you paint them. And it means you get so many different dwarf armies on the table. You get so many different sort of color schemes, different types of way people painting them. So for most of my dwarves, I've been going for like a Legion United color scheme. I've done sort of white and blue and yellow.
I've seen them, and I didn't realize that's what it was. Of course, I wouldn't have.
People keep thinking they're Swedish because there's a lot of blue and yellow going on, and the white is on the cloaks and stuff, and it doesn't strike out as much as the blue and yellow. But I've really tried to go for the Legion United theme. And then on my dwarf rangers, which due to COVID, I was pretty much in isolation over Christmas, so I've pretty much painted up all my 200 points ready for the start of slow grow. I've done those with influence from, I think it was the 1994 Leeds away kit, which was blue and green. So they're my dwarf rangers.
Is that the last time Leeds were in the top league?
No. I think we got relegated in 2004.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. If people aren't familiar, it's the famous like Yeboah shirt with the blue and green stripes. And Leeds did an away shirt last year, which was the same color scheme, sort of influenced by that as well. So the Rangers are sort of the away kit, and the sort of the shield guys and the regular warriors, they're my home kit.
And then what's your plans for like expanding it as the slogo goes on?
So I think then the next stage is adding in Balin. I think because luckily James gave me leeway on starting with Gimli rather than starting with Balin, because I think technically you can only have Gimli with you when you have Balin, because it's only with Balin does it become Kingdom of Moria. But luckily I'm able to start with Gimli, and like you say, I really like that ranger aesthetic, and because so many of his sculpts have the cloak, he sort of fits in with those rangers.
Yeah, he looks really good.
I've done him in there. Well, he's got a sort of reddish tunic on still, but I've given him a similar grey bluey cloak similar to the rangers.
Which sculpt have you used?
I've used the one where he's running with the two-handed axe.
Oh yeah.
I'm not entirely sure which one that is.
Heroes of the West.
Helm's Deep is not Heroes of the West, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Right, yeah, with that one, because my favourite Gimli sculpt is the Breaking the Fellowship one. You know, where he's holding the two axes.
Yeah.
But that is so difficult to get hold of. My second favourite is that one where he's running. And luckily, Aussie, you've had a handful of spares, didn't you? I was able to pick it up from you. So yeah, and then adding Balin. I don't get many spare points once I've added in Balin for the extra 150. So he'll probably just come with two or three shield guys, and then at 500 it'll just be sort of beef up those war bands. Maybe add Floy. I really enjoyed painting Floy. He's the last model that I painted only a couple of days ago, and I really enjoyed painting him. So I'd love to get him on the table.
And what spells does he have? He's like a...
He turns off rules.
Yeah, he doesn't have spells.
It's an FAQ machine.
Yeah, he is. He really is. He just I think is it after priority, but before the move phase or something. He can spend a will and switch off a active or a passive special rule. And the great thing about him is if you're friendly dwarf models kill other heroes, he can get will back, and there's no range on that. So for every hero you take down, he gets a will back. That's another special rule you can switch off. So yeah, he's pretty good.
I don't want to play you at 500 points. That sounds bad.
Well, weirdly, I've never played Kingdom Moria before, but we've got 3 for the slogrow.
That's mad, that isn't it?
That's
it's absolutely
cool.
mad. This is the good thing about it. I think because of the different color schemes you can do them, I bet all 3 look very different.
That's what I was going to say. If you get 3 Rohan, they're all going to look pretty much the same, But 3 Isengard, nobody. We try and do things a bit different, but there isn't the same leeway or something. Whereas with those dwarves, especially with big shields and stuff, you've got. They
always pick like really bright primary colors. Like they're always one of the brightest armies I see on the table.
Yeah. Absolutely. Definitely. Yeah, I think Bert, who's in these LWG, he's got these like bright purple and red dwarfs, and I know Josh has got some dwarfs as well, and I think they're
Josh is doing his bright yellow Iron Hills. Yeah, that's fun.
Oh, he is. They're fantastic, aren't they?
Yeah, they're great.
Archie, tell us what you're doing for this slogrow.
So I'm kind of stuck between 2 at the moment, so I'm going to tell you one of them. So it's either going to be Moria, and the reason I would pick Moria is because I've got most of it painted already, so I could almost throw it down for 200 points. But what I'd like to do is Rohan, and my theme would be the Glittering Caves, which there's basically during the Battle of Helm's Deep, this is in the books, Gimli and Éomer get swept away into the caves where all the women and children are being kept, and as the Uruk-hai like flood through. So I want to do an all-foot Rohan army with Éomer as the leader. I think that would be quite a cool and different like Rohan scheme. And I've got the new Éomer sculpt, and I need to paint it up. So at 200 points, it would be Éomer on his own with his shield and his throwing spears, and then I think it's 12 warriors. I think 3 have throwing spears, and the others will have throwing spears and shield, and then the others will have like a shield or a bow. So that's 200 points. So I'm like putting a lot of my eggs in the Airmere basket.
Yeah.
And then I'd go up, and then at 350 I'd add Gamling, who is there but without his banner, because Gamling is there in the books, but he's not a banner bearer or anything like this. So
no, it's a cave, right? You wouldn't be taking a huge banner into the caves. In fact, they're trying to not be seen, not trying to show off.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that point, but then I'm also going to take a normal guy with a banner.
All right, okay, just so you've got some coverage.
It's a much smaller banner.
It is a much smaller banner. And then I think I'm also going to add Hallis, who's the little boy who's not in the books, but he's in the movies. So I could kind of, and Hammer's there in the books, so I could kind of argue that he could be there.
Yeah, totally.
But he's the guy that gives, when he's in a fight, he gives everyone +1 fight value. So I'm thinking a fight 6 Airmere, that's pretty cool potential. So he's going to be there. And then I think I don't get very many more warriors. So that's my 350. So it's all pure Rohan. And then my final jump is adding in Gimli, who's there, who's the big hitter. So then I've got 2 big hitters in Gimli and Airmere. I've got Gamling with his might, 3 points of might, and he's decent enough. He's got heroic defense. And then Hallis boosting everyone around him, hopefully. So I think that should be quite fun. I think it's quite a different Rohan army. Yeah. I need to get a bunch of foot soldiers painted up, because I've got a bunch of riders painted up and never painted my foot soldiers. So this would be an opportunity to do this. So I'm really hoping that I can get that done, but it just depends on, I guess the good thing is I don't have to have it painted. I just don't get the points for painting.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play Simon. I haven't got it all painted.
Yeah, for those watching at home, Simon, one of our members, is unforgiving to the unpainted models, to say the least.
Oh yeah.
He can get away with it because his are so stunning.
Yeah, no. It's like the ultimate, like, well, I managed to paint mine this well in one day.
Yeah.
It's easy when you bring in an army of 4 models, though.
Yeah. But it sounds like, Archie, you're doing your best to bring an army of 4 models with Rohan, in the sense that normally you think of like loads of horses, and instead you're going to have a relatively small foot force.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be that good, but I think it'll be fun. I mean, the thing that I will miss out on is the Legendary Legion would give me spears support, whereas I wouldn't have any spears support. So I don't know how it will play exactly. I'm relying on Aemir. I've never really played with Aemir before, so I want to see how he does. And so I thought I'd start with him on foot, and then I can take him on horse later on and see how much better he is.
It's really cool. Are you going to give them special glittering cave bases, or is that not, because then they wouldn't match with the mounted ones?
So my thinking at the moment with the bases is not too glittering cavesy, but still like Helm's Deep kind of theme. So basically, I'm going to use the Generation Shift Ruined City bases, paint the cobbles grey like a Helm's Deep stone, but then I also want like dark brown, and I'm really tempted to use snow because I think that would look really cool. I just think it would have a nice aesthetic. It's not quite in keeping with this theme, but I think it would just be quite a nice different aesthetic. I've never used snow on my bases before, so I'd like to see how that looks.
It's fun. Lots of fun.
I think it'd be really interesting to see the interactions with Hallis, because we're so used to seeing him making Aragorn fight 7 or you know, sort of going around with Theoden in the Legendary Legion. Exactly. But here you've got a Gamling without his banner, so he's just like a fight 4 2 might, not really much of a hero. But with Hallis,
he's 3 might captain.
Oh, 3 might captain, but he's only fight 4. So if you got Halith with him, he can certainly surprise people when he jumps up to that fight 5.
Yeah, exactly. And then all my troops would go up to fight 4. I'm not bringing any Royal Guard because that's anti-theme. It's going to be pure like Rohan warriors. So yeah, I think it could be fun, and it'd be cool to see Halith in a different setting than just the Legendary Legion.
We do see the caves in the film, don't we? In the extended, don't we see a bit of them? But there's no fighting in there, right? There's just
there's that like deleted scene with Eowyn fighting an Uruk-hai or 2.
I don't think I've seen that.
It's not in the extended edition. It's a deleted scene that I saw on YouTube. But no, I don't think it's really in there. But I just remember I really love the bit in the books where Gimli describes the glittering caves. Like amid all the chaos, he has like this massive appreciation for these
yeah,
caves.
and when the battle's over, he's like, yeah, it was a battle, but those caves,
Yeah,
the best
exactly.
caves. And Legolas,
Exactly.
you've got to see these caves. Have you seen the caves? And Legolas is like, no, I was shooting people. And he's like,
Yeah.
you got. I'll tell you what, we haven't got time now, but when this is all over, you've got to come and see the caves with me. You know.
Gimli had enough time not only to appreciate the caves, but still beat Legolas on the kill count.
Yeah, that's it. Arrows, not the way
Yeah.
to kill people in a
No.
mass battle. Wicked. And Jake, what are you taking?
So my first 200 points is going to be canned. It will be, I know, rough and canned with the flags and the horses. So yeah, I'm starting off with the king in chariot. So that's taking up quite a lot of the points, like 120 of the points, and then the rest of them are on horse. And I think I had like 9 points to spare. So I think I have 5 horsemen and then a single solitary warrior, and I think I get 198 points. There's nothing you can do. You can't use those additional 2 points for anything. That's canned as far as I can see. So yeah, that's probably the best I'm going to get for 200 points with the canned. The thing about the king, he's quite good. It's like he's got quite a decent profile. I'm just looking at the stats now. So he's fight 5, which isn't bad. Defense 6. He's only got 2 might though, but courage 5. And he's a 6-inch banner, so he's actually all right. He's 90 points.
Yeah, the 6-inch banners.
6-inch
banner's wicked, as long as you don't surround it with too many chariots that take up all of the 6 inches. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you let the horses get in there, it's pretty great. But yeah, you do wish you had more might, just because you'll use it to get charges off and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's.
Though to be fair, at 200 points, one good charge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You want to play Moria? That's who you want to play.
Or
Just
Hobbit.
go bowling with the
Hobbit's
goblins.
really good.
Yeah.
And then, are you staying cantoned for the next 150, or are you adding anything
I
else?
haven't decided yet on the next 150. So opposite to Curtis, I have not played Mordor yet. I've got a lot of models for Mordor, but don't have the army painted up. So I'm either going to paint the new Witch King maybe and get him in there with a few little Morannon orcs. I don't know if he fit in. Or I've also just bought Amdur for the Eastlings and ally in the Easterlings and get some Eastling warriors in there. Or just keep it canned still, because I've got like 4 chariots I've primed now, but I think 4 chariots is a bit too much. I'm so undecided for the next. I've got a month to decide basically.
How many chariots have you got? 200.
Just the one, which is the king.
Just the one. Oh, okay, and then it's riders and then a guy on foot.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
So you won't be overloading chariots, will you? Unless you add more cans.
Yeah, no.
If you put,
people.
I was gonna say, if you put Mordor in, you'll lose your bow limit, special army rule thing.
Which all the horses have them, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
True.
That's why. I was just thinking, why
I
haven't
could
I
stick a
ever done
chariot in.
Mordor?
I could, because the rule is to keep the you can keep the heroes. I could drop a few bowmen and stick 2 chariot in. So drop the horsemen and stick 2 chariot in. Maybe it's a couple of horsemen. That could be me little canned sort of contingent, and then swap to like Mordor. But I don't know. I literally can't decide. So
I think you're going to see your games. You're going to see how the 200 points goes, and you're going to be like, I'm missing something here. I'm really missing something. And then that's what the next 150 points will be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you're missing 2 chariots.
Yeah, that's what you'll realise. Just not enough chariots.
Yeah, I need 10 of them.
Yeah.
I've taken Kanda up to 800, I think, and I've never used the 4th chariot, but I do want to paint it up.
Your painting of your can was fantastic, Aussie.
They still need going, but thank you.
Well, good. Yeah.
Have you got your eye on any of the new Easterling things? Is that tempting?
I forgot what they're called, but I'm going to call them the Eastling Ninja.
Yep.
The acolytes.
The Forge World ones. You know what I mean. They look quite cool. But then that's all. Obviously, the release of the sculpt that they were put out in December of what looked like the Abercorn God King type model with an Eastling guy getting carried. Now that perked my interest. don't know what the profile would be, but that'd be really interesting to put in there as well.
Imagine if you had just chariots and that huge, like palanquin or whatever. That would be pretty cool, right? Like the floor is lava list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely awesome. But we'll see. But the Black Dragon Knights that they released on Forge World ones, they weren't that interesting to me, to be honest.
They're like Age of Sigmar Eastlings, aren't they? That's what I got vibes of. I'm not too bothered about those. I quite like what a lot of people do with their regular Easterlings to make them Black Dragons. I think you get really cool paint jobs.
They haven't been released yet, have they? Officially, like they've not. The models haven't.
No, I don't think they've been.
No, the Black Dragons haven't. Not yet.
It's interesting precedent though, isn't it? Because there's a number of units in the game that for like a +1 point get buffed into a different unit sort of thing, like Guardians of the King in Army of Thror, or was it Erkenbrand's Red Shields? Or
Red Shields,
Red Shields.
Quite a lot of forces have got a unit like that, and you think, well, if you start making separate models for all of them, that's a lot.
Yes,
that's a lot of expensive Forge World troops. You know,
I'm really surprised they did that and made a new warrior model that didn't need it when they've still got some missing, like Corsair Reavers and things.
But it's for a relatively popular faction, whereas Corsairs have got to be pretty far down the bottom of the list.
Wouldn't you prefer Eastlings to get a different elite as well?
Yeah, I mean it's a funny thing, especially as most people take them mounted, right? So
yeah, exactly. So does that mean we're going to get a mounted version of this as well?
I don't know. I would have put out
a troop choice we're not getting.
I mean, because Forge World do so many upgrade sprues for the other games and stuff. They've done one for Middle Earth, right? They've done the
Gundabad.
The Gundabad,
right.
Yeah.
They've done that, and they could have done upgrade sprues, like a Black Dragon upgrade sprues. If it's just even like a helmet with a dragon-y head, whatever, you know, like, and that would work both on the cataphracts and on the foot soldiers, you know. So
that'd have been really good. I'd have really liked seeing that. That would have made me tempted as well, because it's like beginner's guide to conversions as well. When you get those kits, it sort of helps people who are a bit afraid to do conversions to sort of give it a go.
Absolutely, and it's a big commitment to switch over to like these specific Black Dragon models. Do you know what I mean? If you know, when you could previously just be buying a cheap plastic kit and painting them black, you know.
Yeah. Especially as people often take quite a lot of Black Dragons. There's only 4 in the pack in the new one. Is that right?
I think it's 3.
Right? It must be
3.
Yeah. So it's not that many.
No.
Really.
I think there's 6 in it. It's like the Dol Amroth kit.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So it's going to cost you £40 for 6 months.
Yeah.
6 models that are 1 point better than the plastic ones.
How many of them have got spears though? Because actually, it might be more cost effective. Or
just to get pikes.
In the current kit, you get like penny, but you don't get no pikes, and you get so many bows that no one ever really uses. And if in this kit actually it's say 4 pikes and 2 swords, guys,
hopefully I'd say 6 pikes and 6 swords give you like the full option.
Yeah, that'd be great.
They're being smart.
They might do, because that Dol Amroth kit has got quite a lot of options in it. It's got spare. It's got spare
banner and horns and everything.
I think it's got more than 6 heads in the kit, and it's got banner and horn. And
I think it's got more than 12 heads.
Wow.
I think it's 12. I think you get 6 helmets and 6 like just human heads.
Wow.
It's definitely a nice kit.
Do you have that, Jake, for your Dol Amroth?
I do, yeah, I do. I got it when it first came out. It was at a reduced price as well. It was like £36 maybe instead of the 42 what it is now.
And was it a good kit? Good kit to use?
It was the first Forge World model kit that I used, and it like blew my mind. It was fantastic. Like the way the paint was applied was amazing. Putting it together was just a dream. It was absolutely brilliant. I'd really recommend it.
Yeah, I've got it, and I got it, and I took the 6. I put the 6 helmeted heads on, and then I just kept the 6 bare heads, because I was like, these would be great for other conversions, you know, like
yeah.
I've done that. I used the heads for Osgiliath vets conversions.
Exactly.
So I put them on like Minster Warriors and like made like Osgiliath vets. Tried an attempt. Capes of green stuff was difficult, like, but
I haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, one day I'm gonna do a Theodric conversion using one of the Dol Amroth heads. I've been inspired by hitting myself.
Instead of his
Airma's body?
Yeah.
Not his terrible model. That is such a bad model.
Yeah, it's such a terrible model. Yeah.
James, what are you doing for slow grow?
So I'm doing Moria. Finally, it's one of the factions that it's probably the faction I've had the most models for, but never painted any of them. So I think some of the ones I'm painting now I could have had since 2001.
Wow.
Nice.
So I've got so I'm starting off with Groblog, whose model I've always really loved. I've had him probably since the new edition launched, so he's been sitting in his box for 4 years. So I'm finally getting to paint on him. He's taking a cave troll, and I'm bringing the plastic one from the Balin's Tomb box, which is one I never got back in the day, but I always regretted not getting, so I'm glad that came back. And then I'm taking with him 5 Moria Prowlers, and then 6 Goblins. And I think the 6 Goblins will be 3 Spear, 3 Shield.
You get all that for 200.
Yeah, it's quite a good little force for 200.
Groblog's quite cheap, isn't he? But he's just so good when he's surrounded by goblins.
Yeah, he's 50 points, and he buffs their fight values up, but only half the time.
So your Groblog plus the cave troll, that's about the same points as your Aemir on foot, Archie?
Yeah, probably on that.
Yeah, I think Aemir on foot is 115, and that's what, 125.
I'm taking the hammer and the chain. So
okay,
they're a bit more.
Yeah.
It seems like good value though.
Plus a warrior or something.
Yeah.
I just think it's a funny thing in the slogrow where, like, you know, no one's like Jake's saying, you've got to put the king in your first one, so you haven't got much left to spend. You know, like if you're getting the expensive hero in your first 200, there's not much to spread out. Whereas with Moria, that's like you've got 2 bits in there, and
I have more choice than I've ever had for anything else, and I crafted so many lists for this. I mean, some of them I just had captains and as many goblins as I could get, and it's surprising you can get a lot of goblins.
Yeah, I bet 200 points.
Yeah,
you would have like more models than anyone else would, and that would be effective at 200 points.
It would be all right. I think the problem is a chariot hits you and you lose like half.
Yeah.
You see Jake's like sitting there like, go with that list. Go with that list.
Get the cave troll away.
Yeah, they've got Moria's one of the factions with just so much choice.
Yeah, I love Moria.
Like so many different options. I was tempted to take a cave drake first. Like a couple of warriors.
How much is the cave drake?
He's 150.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, so you then still get 10 warriors you can take or something.
Yeah, no, he can only lead 6, unfortunately.
Oh, is he only a minor hero?
Yeah, he's only a minor hero. But you could get him and like a bunch of elite. You could get him and a bat swarm and some warriors.
Yeah.
Or like him
That's
and a
deadly
warrior.
200 points. That's
like,
brutal.
yeah,
Only 1 point at might though at
yeah.
200 points.
But it would struggle
You can
in
eat people,
domination.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that I'm definitely keeping that as my 200 points. Finally decided I've started painting them. Next 150, I'm umming and ahhing a lot, but I am very tempted to get the Dweller in the Dark.
Okay, so it's
a model that
infrequently seen model.
Yeah, I never see it, and it always looks interesting, and I actually really like the model. A lot of people don't like it because it's like a baby Balrog sort of thing.
Oh, I like
really
it.
like
Looks
it.
quite cool.
Skinny Balrog.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to take him possibly with like a shaman and a couple of other little models, possibly a bat swarm. I mean, there's just so much choice.
That's really fun, like that you can do all those different things in there, even at this low points.
I mean, the last 150 is definitely going to be the Cave Drake, which I've started building up together.
Nice.
He's going to be the final little piece I bring along, because again, it's a model that I've had for a while. Really like it, and yeah, I bought him when they brought him back, which was I think like 3 or 4 years ago. Again,
Nice.
and he's just been sitting in his box, so it's great to finally get his models out and get playing with them.
What I love about Moria is that you can like go with a theme, and there's like so many themes. So you can do like all goblins, you can do monsters, you can do like Balrog led, you can do the beasties one. There's so many cool things to do with Moria.
Yeah, it's like 5 completely different things you can do out of it. It's in a way you've got more variety even than Mordor. Mordor's got a lot of troop choices, but it still has things that it can't do, sort of thing. You know, like
it's still orcs, isn't it, Mordor?
Yeah, exactly. Like I guess you could do ring raves or you can do orcs, but like you can't do wargs. You know what I mean? You can't just.
I think my main issue with Moria at the moment is they're like the faction is huge, but there's only actually 9 things available on the Games Workshop store.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So there's so much missing. There's you can't get Black Shields, you can't get the Black Shield Captain or Shaman, you can't get Prowlers, you can't get Marauders. There's a couple of different heroes you can't get.
Yeah, and they're expensive as well, aren't they? The Ashrak, the Spider King, he's like £70 or whatever on eBay or something ridiculous.
They need to do a made to order. They could do a made to order just for Moria with the amount of stock.
But
it'd be popular as well, I think, because there's a lot of the like Prowlers are really popular. I think people would, like even if they don't like the profiles, they quite like the Black Shield sculpts.
Yeah.
I think it'd be popular, but the issue they've got is the made to orders have all been tied into the new supplements they've done.
Well, some of them, not all of them. They have done a couple of they keep on doing like Kurdash and Kurdan. And,
really
that was
in-demand
rogue, wasn't
ones.
Yeah, they always add in a bunch of extras. I would like them just to do like Ashrak and a couple of the others. And
I can see them doing that because some of those ones have clearly been put in a made to order because they're going for silly money on eBay and they're just like, we could do that,
Yeah.
And there's I mean, I've gone third party for my Prowlers just because there's no other option. They haven't been available for a long time, so there's just none on the market.
And there are lots of very good third-party Prowlers, aren't there?
Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, I've got some of them. I think I'd love to see a supplement which is like the Moria supplement that they did. I can't remember what it's called.
Dwarfs against Goblins.
Dwarves against Goblins. I think that would be really
Shadow and
cool.
Flame.
Shadow and Flame. That was the original one where they also did like Barrow Whites and stuff, and I think they brought Treebeard out with that. It was sort of a catch-all, but then they did a Khazad-dûm one when they were going through all the factions again after the One Ring rule book, and that was when the plastic kits for the dwarves came out, and I think a number of the Warg Marauder profiles came out and stuff, and that was such a cool book because that's where a lot of the depth Moria has came from.
Absolutely, they threw in loads of kind of gimmicky ones. It was cool.
Yeah,
I definitely think that supplement will be in the pay plane. I'd be very surprised if it's not. It's clearly a very popular faction.
But so are dwarves, so it would appease a lot of people if there was a supplement like that.
It could be one of the mini ones like Scouring of the Shire sort of size. And just do a bunch of different Forge World models. I don't think we'll get any plastic for a supplement like that.
No, I don't think so.
I
can
it's really obvious to
film
do.
sculpts, and there's like the Balrog's already got one, and there's like nothing else in the films.
Could you see them doing like a Balin's Expedition and those profiles that came out with the Hobbit trilogy, then bringing out sculpts for Balin's Expedition to sort of tie them in with the Kingdom of Moria?
I mean, if you look at all the plastics we've had so far since the re-release, they're all iconic film sculpts.
Okay.
Like they're almost like you could almost pick a still from the film for most of them. I just don't think they're going to jump away from that formula for a while.
No, but I think we had a supplement like Scouring of the Shire, which was what 10 or 12 Forge World models.
Maybe Forge World options.
15, and I think if you had that, like you just had. So, for instance, you should have an old glowing, to go to take to Rivendell with Glimmerly. You should have who is it who's dead next to the tomb when they get into
Ori?
So it's Ori and I think one other of the Thorin's company that go with Balin.
Who can go with them? I can tell you.
It says it in the book, doesn't it? I've got it.
Is it Oin?
Oin, it might be.
I think it's Ori and Oin. I think, but
I get there.
So the dwarves that you can take Ori, Oin, Gimli. So it just must be Ori and Oin.
But currently you can take their Hobbit profiles, right? Their Thorin's company era profiles.
Yeah, they're Champions of Erebor profiles. So like they're
I didn't realize.
Also, you think they could write them entirely new profiles?
Yeah, either they keep the profile or just bring out like a Forge World sculpt of them that sort of fits in with the Kingdom of Moria.
Because the I don't think we do have exact dates for it, but it's like they basically get rich again in Erebor, hang out for a while, and then Balin goes, do you know what? I still quite fancy going and checking out, Moria, and so they go off. But it's a bit later, and not, it doesn't necessarily need. But in the game, it's represented by we've got the really old Balin, the kind of old kingly Balin. So
who doesn't actually look anything like Balin anymore, because that model was made way before the Hobbit.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Some people have done some lovely conversions where they've taken
really
the
nice
top of the Hobbit guy's head off and put it on him. So it's just essentially looks like the film Balin, with a bigger beard and more grand clothing and armor.
That's awesome. Made me annoyed that I'd already painted my one up.
Yeah, I mean, it just made me feel bad about my conversion skills because I'd never would have attempted it.
I just think a supplement like that would be really cool to bring out all the old sculpts that have gone out of print.
Or even some new ones. I mean, you could do a new Durbers. Like they've done a couple of new ones recently, Forge World ones, like the Denethor. And then with who was the orc they did? Grishnak?
Yeah, that was really random.
Grishnak.
Grishnak.
I'm surprised you don't have Durbers in your slogrow because he is such good value. Is it because he's just sort of you want to get the interesting characters in that you've not seen much?
I in one of my I could get him in, but because he's 20 points, I wanted to take Cave Troll. And you swap Groblog for Durbo, suddenly you lose 4 goblins, and then you're starting with I think like 8 models.
Right, okay.
Which is great. I mean, 200 points. I'm starting with 13 models, which is all right.
But yeah, it's not like Moria level of increase.
Yeah.
No, I get that. Yeah, that's fair. I suppose
I
match
do want
play
to bring
is
him
very
in,
good.
so I might bring him. I might bring him for the next. Yeah, it's tough to bring it in because if I bring him in the next round, and I can't really do the Cave Drake, and I want to fit a drum. Basically, there's so much I want. I don't know.
And you're trying to get it into an eventual 500-point list.
Yeah. Well, actually, now I need 700 points because this is going to be, or I hope it's going to be my Borodur list.
Fantastic.
Yeah, because we got tournament roughly around just before when the 3rd month of the slogrow will start.
Yeah.
And that's at 500 points, and then it's going up to 700 points for the last last game.
Last game. Yeah.
So you just remind me of how many minis I've got to paint.
Yeah. I was going to paint an entire 700 point Moria force.
It should be amazing though, because the hope is so many of the players going to Borodur. I was looking through the list just earlier today. So many of them are local. Hopefully, a lot of them will be part of the slogrow.
Yeah.
It would be. I can't wait to see on the table sort of what people are planning to do and whether their slogrows will tie into their Borodur lists. And fingers crossed, not as few of the people will be like you, James, and try and get it all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should run down what I'm doing. I'm doing, after saying like Mordor don't have options, of course they do have the options now because they've got Razgush, War Leader of the North, just revealed his rules from Forge World, and he's 110 points, which that's kind of expensive for what he does. I mean, I think he's great. I'm really excited to do him.
What does he do? I've not
he
seen
allows you to bring his warband can only be made up of bat swarms, Mirkwood spiders, giant spiders, fell wargs, or basic orcs.
Right, okay.
Right? And he allows any orc captains in your army to bring all of those beasts in their warbands. So he has a limited warband. He has to have those things. Whereas the other orc captains can bring all kinds of stuff alongside bat swarms, Mirkwood spiders, giant spiders, fell wargs, and I wanted an excuse to play those spiders and wargs and stuff, but I didn't really fancy the kind of like you just get a spider queen and then no other heroes kind of list. That wasn't quite getting me pumped. Whereas this is like I think it's really Tolkien-y, the idea of just all the bad guys in the woods getting together and going to fight some elves. I think that's really themey. And I think, I will try and make it mostly beasts, I think. But you'll throw the orcs in there, just to be that Razgush has got some little entourage. He's not just one random guy with some animals. They're Mordor orcs, but they have brought together all the evils. The way Gandalf talks about there being evils everywhere, even the trees, you can't trust them. It feels really like that.
That sounds
what is a hero? Is he a hero of fortitude?
No, he's a hero of valor, which is
that's good.
Really
good.
So, but the issue I've got is that the way that the spiders and bats and all that stuff are costed, or certainly the spiders, they're costed with the rules of the Dark Denizens of Mirkwood in mind. In that they you won't be paying for leaders, you won't be paying for heroes, you only be paying for one hero in the Spider Queen. And so they cost 20 points, the spiders. And when you are paying for heroes, like in this list, that cost seems quite high. So for the starting list, I've got I could have Razgush, one of each type of spider, one bat swarm, and 2 orc warriors for 200 points. It's like 6 models.
It's some big bases there, though, because the Mirkwood spiders are pretty chunky, aren't they?
The Mirkwood spiders are on the Mirkwood spiders are on a big base. They're on a 60 mil. The giant spiders are on
60.
40. Yeah, the Mirkwoods are on 60. So
for a 20-point model, you could fill the entire board.
I know this, but it's that's what I kind of want to do is take a huge horde of them. But I'm not, with Razgush costing 110 points, I'm not going to get a huge swarm, horde of them. And the bat swarm's kind of like the real nice little puzzle piece that does bits for you, and that's 35. So it's a bit like and also I want to use the models I've got, right? And I've got a load of spiders from other games. I've got some from the Journeys in Middle Earth game from Fantasy Flight.
Nice. And
I was like, clip them off their plastic bases, stick them on a 40mm. Great, that's 6 of them. I picked up 2 metal ones that look really nice from a pick and mix in a small town game shop. I've no idea who made them, but if I do them, I'm not going to be able to take them to Warhammer World. I've got a ticket to the GT at the end of February.
No.
So it makes me be like, okay, maybe I'll do this as my slogrow army, but it's a bad idea to take it to the GT, I think, because
you won't be able to.
I can't take those, so I'd have to paint them twice. Do you know what I mean? I'd have to get the official models and paint them up. And it's the end of February. That's not that far off. I need 700 points of it for that. So I think that might take the fun out of the slogrow. So I'll probably go to the GT with, I think I should just decide now to be like, I'm going to take something else to the GT. And then, do you know what though? I could take Mordor and just splash Razgush in with a warband of fell wargs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you got the Games Workshop models for that, you could do that.
Swarm, maybe.
I don't
And
have
Bat
them
Swarm,
yet. Bat Swarm, fell wargs. The fell wargs are the thing I wanted the excuse to buy because I love them, but I've never done a evil Hobbit era army, right? So, but I love them. So I'm like, 2 boxes of fell wargs, Bat Swarm, 2 spiders.
So your bats are currently the Cursed City bats, aren't they?
Yeah.
They might let you use them as a conversion.
I think I could use them because it's a Games Workshop model, so that's cool. But the spiders, I think not. And the price of the Games Workshop spiders, when you can buy a bag of plastic spiders for £1 in a pound shop, just I don't want to get on a price moan, but the spiders seem to be particularly bad. You know what I mean? Forget it. So I think I'll decide I'm going to do this Razgush for the slogrow and then take a normal Mordor to the GT, I think, because I've got to take a good guy army as well, and I could take Ents for that, which would mean I didn't have too much to carry.
Yeah, that's true.
What are you doing after your initial 200 points?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, orc captains. Do you know what I mean? Orc captains, and then just fleshing them out. So I guess, I think even at 500.
Well, there's also a chance it will be a legendary legion, so you might have a book by then.
I think a few people, whether the book comes out during this logo is going to have an effect on.
Yeah, and it's all quite casual. If someone wants to start an entire new army at 350, just to get in on one of the new legendary legions, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's about getting us going, isn't it? It's about, and especially that's why we sort of programmed it on the start of the year, isn't it? Because it's a really easy way. It's also a really easy way to learn the game for people that are, playing their first games. It's a lot easier to learn at 200 points.
You can get a couple of 200 points games in an evening. There's less models to remember. Usually people don't bring the really confusing things at 200 points. And you've got less magic and things like that.
Yeah, less heroes. I mean, you're probably only going to have one, maybe 2 heroes in at 200 points.
It's much easier to work out. And it's a great way to learn, to be honest.
I really enjoyed those early slogrow days on the last slogrow. So that was how I got into the LWG, through getting myself on the WhatsApp and then coming along to the slogrow. And I remember those early ones at the low points that we did, and you'd get 3, 4 if you were lucky games in, and it would just be a case of, right, you'd have your first opponent. It was whoever was randomly assigned to your table, and then after that it was Has anyone else
Free for all,
finished? We've just
yeah.
finished our game.
Yeah.
Who's ready to go again? And
Yeah.
that was really good. And it was a really great way to meet new people, play loads of different armies, and you'd be able to get it all in one night. Like,
Yeah, I think it's really true. I think I really enjoy like the small points. I also think it's really great for learning a new army. Do you know what I mean? Because like Jake, you've got a chariot to drive, right? Like you don't have to take a driving test, but it's much easier learning to drive one chariot than 4. You know what I mean? Like I think that's
Yeah, I really like as well that you've curtailed it at 500, because I think that's I feel with the slow grows before it, just because you go to such high points level, like I think when I first joined, the highest we were going to go to was 1,000. Then it just is so much more work to get everything done, and people tend to drop off.
It also, both times. So this will be the third. The first one, we were halfway through the 650 in March 2020.
Yeah,
no.
that's when
that
I
one.
first joined. That was my first round, and then it all.
Yeah. The second one we did was, I think we got to 500 points in July of 2021 last year. And it sort of fell apart because the LGT was coming up. I think it might have been later. The LGT was coming up, and everyone sort of moved over to doing practice lists. Didn't really fit in with their slow grow lists.
I think that's it. The value of it is in the starting off and the getting you over the hurdle of having an army. Once you get up to big numbers, that's about like doing them for the deadline of a tournament and stuff. I need 800, I need 1,000, you know. But I think for starting you off, it's so good, you know.
Yeah, and that's why we're just gonna finish it at 500 and then just move on to the next thing. Which Archie, did we tell everyone what the next thing was?
Yeah, we did. Didn't we? Yeah, we did. We put it in the calendar.
Yeah. So we're doing battle companies.
Yeah.
After the slow grow and doing like a mini campaign of that. Not exactly sure how that's going to work yet, but I think we're going to go quite elaborate on it.
I'm looking forward to that.
That's going to be so good.
And it's worth saying for people watching, if you're in the London area and you want to get involved, drop a comment on YouTube and we'll send you a DM, invite you to the WhatsApp. You know, like we'll we've got slow grow starting up now. People can join in with that.
The group has grown a lot over the last 2 years. I think we're now about 110.
Yeah. About 110. It was about 40 when I joined, I think February 2021. I think James, you picked me up on Reddit and got me in on the WhatsApp.
Yeah, you did it for me as well. Me and Emmy were having a conversation on Reddit, like, oh, it's a shame there's nowhere to play in London regular anymore. And he was like, yeah, so. And then you were like, yeah, there is.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And we got more plans up our sleeves for this year. I'm really hoping to do things. We were just talking about Mordor, and that's selling out in seconds, basically, in just a few minutes, and having a huge waiting list. So we're trying to encourage more tournaments in London because it's a bit underserved.
Massively,
and a mixture of Mordor is obviously a GBHL event, so we want to try and get more GBHL events in London as well. For us, it's venues, but once we can sort of fix that piece of the puzzle, it's such a great place because it's so well connected. But then also tournaments for people in London. You know, in December we had a sort of an end of year tournament which we're looking to do again, which went quite well, and that had nearly 30 people just from the London area. So
it was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
Got
the winner here.
Trophy.
James knew that was coming up.
No, he takes it everywhere with him.
I'm super keen to help organize the tournament as well, because I really enjoyed because obviously I wasn't there for the LWG one, but I really enjoyed especially like the terrain building side of things, like everyone pulling together to build terrain and make really cool boards. And the more people that do that, or the longer we do that for, the more terrain builds up, and you get more like Middle-earthy boards rather than just generic.
Big time.
Yeah, the two big comments coming away from that tournament were how good the terrain was, and we had Kill Team sort of helping out, covering the costs, and they were sort of near the bar, and they kept on coming over, and all they were saying was just how good the terrain was, but then also how friendly it was, and just how chilled it was, and there was no sort of pressure on it being super competitive. So
it was a fantastic tournament, and the terrain. I'm not sure if you can put some pictures of the terrain up as we're talking.
I'll put some pictures of the terrain up as we're talking.
Archie, 2 of those boards are yours. They're still in my
Yeah, I was
house
going to
as well.
say, like Archie, you may not have been there, but your terrain came in your stead. Like that was,
Yeah,
that was
well,
really
I'm
great.
relieved because I built that over lockdown, kind of for myself, and so I'm pleased that it could actually get some game time for other people as well.
Yeah, that was awesome. If we can get more sort of storage and get set up with more of the things we need to do more tournaments more regularly, then between us as a group, and like you said, it's 110 people, like hopefully it's going to be a really good time for SPG in London.
Yeah, really good.
The Renaissance.
I can't wait.
The Renaissance.
Renaissance, yeah. And we're sending 2 teams up to the top table gaming team competition, right?
Yeah, we are. I think actually there's 3.
Is there 3? Okay.
Yeah, Felix as well, who's part of the chat. He's put a team in, but yeah, there was definitely 2 that were sort of organised through the main chat.
I was going to say we should get up some kind of like patriotic London shirts for everyone to wear, but most of you guys are from like all over the country.
Yeah. That's the nature of London, though, isn't it?
I don't think but I don't think you all want to be carrying the Thames flag, or whatever it is I come up with.
Yeah.
I'm all for in the build up for us all to sort of get loads of hype and.
I mean, I can swear you all in as official Londoners. Just involves a pigeon and some shit. So,
yeah, we'll choose the best feature about London and have it made up into a costume to go and wear for each team.
With just the night tube. Like we go out at night anymore.
So there's a lot of Hobbit armies around at the moment, which is really cool because I haven't played really that many Hobbit armies. I've played quite a lot of like Azog and Bolg recently.
I think what we're looking at
when I was back in London.
Yeah, I think the reason why you're seeing that, I think, is that with the game being sort of relaunched for 4 years now, since the Pelennor Fields box, people did the ones out of the box. They did like easy to do ones, and now you're looking at people doing their second army, their third army. Do you know what I mean? And they're getting into some weird ones. You know what I mean? Jake's doing canned. Do you know what I mean? Like people are doing Thorin's Company, or people are picking out weirder ones for sure.
I mean, we've also got like an absolute ton of Eastlings coming at the moment. Like a bunch of different people are building them up.
I feel like there's an Easterling hype train.
Yeah. And they're
considering
just
they're in the movie for like 8
well.
seconds.
Yeah,
because in one of the armies in the new supplement, right?
I know, because I do think we'll be seeing some elf stuff. So you may get like the Easterling hype, and then I think you may get a Lorien and a Mirkwood hype coming after that. I think
they need something like. It looks like Eastlings are definitely getting the best treatment from this book.
Yeah.
But I think we've got 7 profiles left. So I'd be very surprised if at least two of those weren't elves.
Yeah.
Well, one of them's definitely Easterlings, isn't it? It's that guy we're talking about who's carrying.
I think multiplar because they've released silhouettes for 2 more. Easterlings. So they've got the guy being carried who's almost definitely going to be the Emperor. And then those 2 other ones, one of which has got a banner, but apparently that's not a banner bearer.
Well, I thought one was they thought it was a war priest and then like a captain style.
Right. But apparently it's not a basic war priest.
No.
No, but I mean like a war priest carrier.
Like someone with spells.
Yeah.
As in it'll be a new profile rather than just a new model.
That's cool. What's it? Orofin, the forgotten brother. That's due for Lorien.
Yeah.
I could get on the Lorien hype train if that starts. Massively.
I could do that or Thranduil's like can't remember which forest he's in. Mirkwood. I could do Mirkwood if they get something amazing released as well.
Has anyone played against the new Mirkwood Rangers Legendary Legion?
Yes, I have.
Because that looks sick.
I played against it on a Lake Town board. And it was a bit horrifying because on the Lake Town board, it took me a long time to get to it. And of course, it's just sitting at the back of the board shooting you. But I did manage to win in Destroy the Supplies. No supplies were destroyed. No leaders were killed. No army was broken. But it doesn't have a banner. And I had a banner. So
a thriller.
Yeah. I nearly got a supply. Obviously, I was coming on to him. He was looking to sort of defend and maybe whittle me down and send some elves down the side. Like I'd come all on his fell beast. I was hoping to jump over and then sort of take one. But honestly, Legolas shot Camor off his fell beast. I had no chance. So when I realised I wasn't really going to get much from this game, I just crouched my banner behind one of the lake town
Nice.
houses, and just sort of tried to kill as many elves as I could until the time went up.
Because what I thought that army might be like another Rangers Astillion, where everyone was like, "This is rubbish. It's just a gun line." But I guess they're more expensive, right? So you can't quite like spam bows to the same degree as Rangers.
Yes.
Couldn't you already take unlimited Mirkwood Rangers with bow in just the regular list?
Yeah, you could. So
people could have been doing that the whole time.
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
They've got a buff of sorts, haven't they?
Yeah,
I thought they weren't allowed.
In Thranduil's halls, they don't count towards your bow limit if in like singular warbands or something. But this gave them like better buffs for being able to hide in terrain and stuff.
Yeah.
I think one thing that sort of Range of Athelion has over it is because it's got so many cheap heroes with 1 point of might. Having the might on the shots makes them so much more effective.
Yeah.
And especially those 2 minor ones who have got like some extra buffs for shooting.
Yeah, the one that's got the 3 point on might every turn on shooting plus 1 point. So if you want to kill something, you can go, okay, this is the turn. I've hit you. You know.
Yeah,
I need probably a 3 or a 4 to wound you if you've got 2 points of might behind it.
Yeah, definitely. And you can really shoot your targets with that. Whereas here, you've only got it on Legolas and Tauriel and Captains, and they're super expensive compared to a 35-point hero.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'd quite like to try that army, but I have no Mirkwood other than Legolas, and I don't have the Legolas.
I got the Rangers when they first came out because I love the models, but I haven't ever wanted to do like a whole army of them. Whereas this has been the most tempting to me because I quite like to do them without the Palace Guard or whoever, those kind of other ones.
Yeah,
I'm not really a fan of much of the rest of the army.
No, same. I love the sculpts for the elves. I like the fact that there's gender differences in there as well. It's something you really don't see in wargaming generally, and they're really, really cool and dynamic.
Yeah, I converted up one of the female elves from that for the Journeys in Middle Earth game because that has a female elf ranger kind of character. So I was like, oh, sweet.
Nice.
I'll use one of them.
Yeah.
I never finished it because I had to sculpt her a little harp of green stuff, and that almost finished me off. So,
yeah, I've never tried that.
I never tried sculpting a harp.
I've never tried sculpting a harp. I've tried sculpting hands, and that's gone so badly. It's not doing anything.
I done that for my Dunland. I got so bored. I just like pretended his hand was amputated and sculpted a bit of cloth on his hand instead.
That's quite good though. That's quite inventive.
Just sculpted his shield with a bit of cloth.
You just want to make it so that they say, "Oh, my army's all themed in the cold," so I've based them on snow, and I've given them all big mittens. You know what I mean? a lot easier to sculpt. Like, snow army. Anyway, we should probably sign off there. But thank you all for talking about it. Well, I think we'll do more videos throughout the slow grow and see how people are getting on, and we'll change up the cast a bit and see if we can tempt some of the more camera shy people on.
Fantastic. That'd be really good.
Yeah.
And definitely try and get guests on. That'd be so good.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Thank you all for joining me, and thank you humans at home for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Good waving.